All right, we were trying a new thing. I got a microphone and a GoPro now, no more iPhone. So this is the bike. It's a I don't even know what year it is, to be honest with you. It's a Kawasaki Vulcan. It's a 1500 cc from what I've been told, and it's been built. Going off dude's word. So we will be harvesting this motor and then sticking it in the go-kart. Yeah, this is going to be a great time. We'll get her done before lunch. You know, not a bad deal. Yeah, but gonna set up a time lapse here. Got some help coming. We'll get this unit ripped apart and get it mocked up in the go-kart, and how we're gonna transfer the power from motor to the cart. Cart was gear driven with a chain sprocket. And this is drive shaft driven, so it's going to be a little different. Might be using the rear end out of like an ATV or something. We'll figure it out. So we're gonna see, I got the wiring harness, we got it pulled out. That was pretty difficult to do. Figured it's easier to pull it out here, and then you fish all the wires down along here. But everything's labeled. Obviously a lot of it we're not going to use, as the go-kart has its own wiring harness for blinkers, headlights, brake lights. The only thing we'll really use, you know, is the ignition and stuff like that. Other than that, I don't imagine using a lot of that wiring harness. It's mostly light. And then, yeah, so we might have to strip that. Who knows? That's just a lot of work. Fella just don't want to do all that work. So, and other than that, no other points really worth bringing up. I mean, thought I'd come get the camera once in a while, but just wasn't worth it. Unless you guys would like to see more in-depth. I'm sure once we start putting it in the go-kart and doing all the custom work, then we will really be more in-depth with it. A lot more recording going on with it. Until then, I mean, this seems fine. I mean, I think anyone can figure out how to pull this motor out. It's the custom fabrication that we're going to be doing on this. All right, update on the bike. Got the motor out last night. Forgot to turn the camera on. But yeah, we got the motor out. So with these Kawasaki's, when you pull a motor out, they made a little tab right here that we just set 2 bricks on, which was high enough to get the rear tire off the ground. Got the rear tire off the ground, got the rear tire removed. You have to remove the left side shock, and there's the rear tire assembly. Remove the 4 bolts that hold the drive shaft on. Pull the axle bolt out. You gotta take the nut off the passenger side here. And then I just undid the 2 bolts for the brake bracket. So that's just dangling. But the tire pulls right off, real nice. Thing on 2 bricks. Then the motor was sitting in there with nothing. I undid these, had 2 people hold it. I undid the 2 bolts up there on the frame, and then the 2 bolts down here on the frame, and then the motor essentially just fell right out. Took the motor out, set it on a cart. We wheel it over here. So one part was the shifter. When you take the shifter apart on these bikes, there's a little set screw. Little set screw that goes in there. Separate that apart. Stab a screwdriver in there. You pull the bolt out. Stab a screwdriver in there. Separate it. Then wiggle it out. And don't do like what Dylan did. And just stick a pry bar in there and pry it out, because I don't know what that does. Now I gotta pull this side of this case off today and figure out what's wrong with that. Yeah, motor came out great. Start looking into that. Should be able to get it done before lunch, I think. Be a great time. Alright, another update here. So I got the stator cover off of the bike. And the problem was this shifter. I went to go pry on it. All of a sudden the thing popped out like that, and we had no idea why it did that or anything like that. We were scared that there's something attached to the shaft on the other side, like a gear or a pulley or a bearing or anything like that was attached to this, and no, it wasn't. So I popped this cover off. It's just a couple 8mm bolts here, and it just slides right into that hole. So it's just a passage hole that goes into the other half of the motor. Other than that, it's fine. Don't need it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna, I don't have a gasket for this, nor is it in the budget to buy one, so we're gonna slap a little RTV on this and glue it back together and be just fine. But when you take the bolts off, they conveniently, Kawasaki left a little hole right here. Take your flathead screwdriver and pry that case right off. That's nice of them. So I'm gonna put this cover back on and tip this thing back over, and yeah, good day.